Okay, that's it. Your time's up, guys. Pressure test is over. Step away from your plates.
Mate, looks great. Mate, looks great.
Yeah, I was ecstatic when it was finished. My dish looked really good. It was plated up well. There was heaps of sauce. It's that whole turnaround when you think you've totally stuffed something up and then it goes on the plate. I'm amazed. I can bake. Oh my God, I actually have a chance at winning this thing.
So I go and have a quick look at Trev's and Tom's, and bloody hell, they both pulled it off. I mean, from an appearance point of view, this is going to be very close.
Sam, Trevor and Tom, you've just made a sticky date pudding with a butterscotch sauce and an almond praline. In a moment, the judges will head to the restaurant and they will taste your dishes one by one. Now, they're not looking for a winner today, they're looking for the worst dish. If you made that dish, you'll be heading home immediately. The other two will remain in the competition, at least for now. Thank you, judges.
I noticed that it's a little lopsided on the plate, but there's nothing I can do. I mean, it's already on the plate. What's done is done.
It's my turn to take my dish to the judges. I'm proud of what I've done. I just hope that they see that I've really pushed myself today.
So, Sam, are you pleased with what you produced?
Yes, for the most part. You may have seen that I took my puddings out of the oven about 7 or 8 minutes before 40 minutes. I did want to see how they were going.
Yep.
I took one out and it was a bit undercooked, so I had the rest in for the remaining 7 or 8 minutes.
Okay.
And I think, you know, the final product's decent.
Okay. And I noticed Kate was throwing down some advice to you.
Yes.
Did you need advice?
I do like to have the support of other people around me. It's just the sort of person that I am.
Did she give you good advice, do you think?
I hope so. I truly hope so. Yeah.
Nothing worse than taking the wrong advice, is
Certainly is not.
Only got yourself to blame if that happens.
Absolutely true.
Okay, Sam, thanks very much. You can go now.
Okay, enjoy. Thank you. If I have to go home today on the back of that, at least I go home on a high.
So, the praline looks a bit thick to me, but the pudding looks a nice shape. And I think the butterscotch sauce could be a little bit darker, but other than that, I think he's done a good job. You know what, that's really nice. Sam's done a good job in terms of baking the pudding, I think. And he was probably right to put it back in the oven when he did.
This is one of those sticky dates, if you like moist fruitcake, you're going to love. You're just going to love that kind of when it's a bit gooey in the middle.
That's delicious. Butterscotch sauce is just like, wow, you just want to go back for more and sort of feel sick because you've had too much.
And the pralines may be marginally thick, but what he has managed to achieve, besides that beautiful colour, is a little bit of bitterness from taking that caramel just to the point where it's starting to turn. So it isn't just a big chunk of sugar, it's got a little bit of tang to it. You know, it's got to be said, the other guys are going to have to go it to surpass that, because that is a very fine example of a sticky date pudding with butterscotch sauce.
Sitting around waiting for the judges it's not fun. It gives you time to doubt yourself. It's all well and good to stay positive, but when you're looking down the barrel of an elimination, it's very tough.
Trevor, how do you think you went?
It tastes really nice. I think I did really well. I mean, there were a few teething problems. I screwed up when I used the brown sugar to make the praline. Luckily, I actually realised that it was way too brown in the pan. That cost me like 10 minutes, but I still managed to plate up, so happy.
Would your wife be happy with that?
I think she would. She would love it.
Did you have a little trouble taking the pudding out of the mould?
It's not something I've ever done before, so I did run a knife around it, but
Yeah.
I don't think I did it, you know, as precisely as I probably should have.
Okay.
Trevor, thank you.
Thank you. I know I cooked a good dish today. I know I can cook. I know I deserve to be here. So I just hope the judges can see that.
It looks good. I reckon he has had a little bit of trouble getting it out of the mould. You can just see where he's torn the pudding on the outside, certainly on one side, where he's popped the knife in and turned it round to turn the pudding out. Look, I can't pick between the two of them. So far, both of them are absolutely top-notch puddings.
Oh, it's wonderful. It's beautiful. The pudding's deep, it's rich. The caramel sauce has got this extra little bit of vibrance compared to the last one. Mate, they are delicious.
That butterscotch sauce is...
That's liquid gold.
It's amazing, isn't it? There's a very small difference, maybe 2 minutes in the pan that's got it a little bit darker, but it just lifts that sauce for me from being sweet to just having that kind of slightly, not quite caught, but almost caught, slightly kind of caramelly flavour, molassesy flavour. It's absolutely delicious. Wow, well, we've seen two quite amazing dishes.
I'm nervous. I'm nervous about what they'll say because, I mean, I find fault with my food, so they'll probably find something wrong with it, and I just have to wait and see.
Tom, you were worried about the praline. How did that work out?
I think it's a bit thick. I think if I had to do it again, I would have tried to make it thinner.
Do you think that's a good enough dish to carry you through?
I would hope so. I've seen the other two, and to be completely honest, I think it's going to be very close. I would like to think it's very close.
Tom, thanks a lot.
Thank you. I could be the one going home. I've accepted that, but I just have to wait and see.
The fact that he has tipped the pudding over and poured the sauce onto the bottom as such rather than the crusty top, it's soaked right the way through, so it's really soft and really gooey, nice and sweet, really nice and datey as well.
Beautiful pudding, really well made, caramel's delicious. If there's any criticism, it's just a tad paler than the last two.
Try that bit because that's got more nuts in. When you bite that, it fractures, it shatters in your mouth. There's none of that sense your teeth are going to break. It just goes like that. And again, it's got that caramelly, burny flavour, which is beautiful. That's fantastic.
Beautiful.
Wow, this is going to be so close, huh? I mean, this has to be the closest pressure test we've had. It's going to be hard to decide who's going to go home.
I am not in a good spot, actually. I think I'll get everything plated, but it will be quite ugly.
I'm the usual hurricane Poe at my station, and that it is an absolute disgrace.
What a mess.
I know.
Huh?
Don't even.
I tell you what, I wish I had you in my kitchen for a day.
Oh, so orak in there?
Yep.
So not in a traditional leaf?
No.
But steaming it Boudin style?
And this is the spice mix for the stink bean. I'm about to stir fry this, and I have to get my dessert in here steaming, so I have to stop.
Hey, we'll get over your hair, Poe.
Okay.
I just can't believe the mess you've got here.
I know. I'm sorry.
It's unbelievable.
I'm starting to realise that my little flaw of being messy is actually a massive flaw.
Guys, we are at the business end of this competition.
That's right. Don't go down in the last round. Glove up. You've got less than 15 minutes to go.
And 15 minutes to go. I'm steaming my eggplant. I'm steaming my fish. I'm just sort of getting the last finishing touches of everything done so that I can plate up in time.
I can see the light at the end of the tunnel. I can see that I'm going to have things done, and I think I'm going to have enough time to plate things up really nicely.
At this point, I'm starting to get a little bit worried about Chris because he's already plated up.
I'm happy with it. I think the flavours come out really nicely.
His dish actually looks very traditionally Malaysian, and his dessert is not a bad effort. Possibly, he could overtake me with his main.
I've got plenty of time to spare. I've just got to finish off my dessert now.
You've got 5 minutes to go. 5 minutes.
5 minutes to go equals freaking out. I was just doing everything at once. Dessert, then main, then dessert, then main, going back to one another, and I wasn't concentrating on just one.
You have 1 minute to go.
At 1 minute to go, I'm manic. I have to rip my eggplant out of the steamer. I don't think it's 100% ready yet. I'm sort of just chucking everything on the plate.
1 minute to go and I'm attempting to cook my spring roll. The oil is just not hot enough. I must have turned off the burner and it was just warm.
You have 30 seconds to go. And when I ask you to put your tools down and step away from the stoves, please, please do so.
Last 10 seconds, I'm just chucking, basically just sprinkling things and pouring things and just getting it all on the plate.
You have 10 seconds to go.
I was counting down and they still weren't browning. And, you know, I had my tongs ready to go when time's up.
3, 2, 1. That's it. Step away from your benches, guys.
And it was just, damn it, why did this happen to me again?
Once the challenge is over and I look at my 2 dishes, I don't think they look good, so I'm really disappointed.
Just have to wait and see now. It's a guessing game. It was always going to be a guessing game. And it's all about taste and flavour, and if it's there, then it's there. If it's not, then it's not. So I'm just going to have to wait and see.
I'm very nervous because I've been banging on about how I want to cook, you know, Malaysian this whole time, and then for me to sort of fall short of that would be quite humiliating.
Pad Thai with a sambal paste and stink bean and fish custard. A glutinous rice dumpling stuffed with pandan leaf and palm sugar.
That's beautiful. Lots of interesting flavours. It's just really fresh and vibrant. I love it. I love it. It's fantastic.
Interesting, tasty. It's beautiful. Absolutely beautiful dish. Well done.
Visually, doesn't really look appealing. Well, that flavour really packs a punch, doesn't it? I'm quite happy to have another spoonful of that. Overall, pretty good. I think you outwitted them, outsmarted them, and you're probably here to stay for a little bit longer, I'd say. Cheers.
Thanks, man.
I was absolutely going to use this advantage to its fullest, and by picking Malaysian, I did do that.
Chocolate mousse cake.
Wow.
And there's an innocent little chocolate cake sitting there. Doesn't sound too intimidating, does it?
That's pretty.
Adriano, a scale of 1 to 10, how hard is this dish?
10.
That's incredible.
10.
Adriano, how long do you think it's going to take our contestants to make this chocolate mousse cake?
3 hours.
3 hours.
3 hours. Why the hell are they giving us 3 whole hours?
I understand what they were saying now, and I understand why the judges were going, you're in for a treat today.
I'm still scared. I really am starting to suspect that my advantage is quite minimal.
So on the bottom we have a cinnamon sablé, followed by, we have a layer of chocolate and blackberry mousse. On top of that we have 2 textured apples. You got one flambé, one tartane.
It's just layer upon layer upon layer of different textures and chocolates and caramels and apples and biscuits.
And then sprayed with chocolate and cocoa butter.
Shit. How are we going to do this?
Well, let's have a look where this can go wrong.
It's a biscuit bottom. You must not overmix it.
Quite a few things can go wrong today.
If you don't use cold butter, when you bake it, you get a lot of seepage of butter out.
Every single thing has got a ton of jeopardy in it.
If you overcook it, your biscuit will be too hard, your sponge, and you won't be able to bend around the ring. It'll just snap.
So we've got 9 different opportunities to screw up.
Then you go to your mousse, which you have to make a sablé on, you have to whip the cream, more chocolate.
What was that? I was just completely tuned out then.
50 degrees, take it up, maximum 50 degrees, bring it down, 26, and then back to 32.
Or thereabouts.
If you don't do this, the chocolate won't set.
Okay. I didn't even know you needed to do that with chocolate. I just thought you melt it and you use it, but, you know, clearly my knowledge is somewhat lacking.
Adriano, any last words of advice to these poor people?
Keep your head down and go hard, I'd say. That's what you really have to do. You got no time to sit around and think. Just do it.
If you thought the Croquembouche test was tough, this is a whole nother level.
I get started on the chocolate mousse part of the cake. I have to whip cream and melt chocolate and combine those two things. The blackberries are boiled in a little pot on the stove and then some sugar is added. I've got 43 minutes left. I'm hoping that before too long, I'll be able to say I've got most things done.
And now it's time to move on to the jacquard. There's 2 layers in the cake and it's there to separate the gooiness of the caramel and also the apples.
I haven't even assembled my cake and that needs to go into that thing.
I then start pouring my mousse in, and that's when I realise it's very runny.
It seems very watery, so I'm going to blast freeze it and it will set really quickly.
Adriano actually said to us, the blast freezer is your friend, use it.
I'm a little stressed because I just feel like I've got so much more to do and nothing's cool. Actually, they're all right.
It's almost like a rough job. I don't have time to make sure that's perfect. Just do it.
You have half an hour to go.
If you're not assembling your cakes by now, you should be very, very worried.
Half an hour's nuts. It'll be cutting it so close, it's not funny. That blast chiller better be really cold. So much going on. It's hard to get your head around.
I'm putting my mousse in a mould. I'm going to freeze it and then put in the next layer so that it's nice and cold and caramel. I think we all might be pushing it for time.
I'm just starting my layers off now. So my mousse first. I think that's what I'm doing.
I think I question a couple of times and look up to see where everyone's at and if I am falling behind. And I feel like Julie's just going great guns.
I've put it into the freezer. I go back to my bench. And what do I see? The decorative jacquard.
Oh, no!
Oh, God.
It's great when other people fluster and mess up. It means they're slowing them down.
Where's the jacquard?
No, that's what she's screaming at.
Yeah.
I didn't put my thingy on the side. The jacquard sponge is, the decorative one goes around the outside.
Julie, you forgot the jacquard.
Yes!
Oh.
I can start again.
No, don't start again.
You've only got 25 minutes to go. You've got to be kidding.
Rightio.
Go!
That's a lesson to everybody else. Don't forget the jacquard, yeah?
Oh.
If somebody messes up, you know, it's music to your ears.
You have 15 minutes to go. I can feel the stress bending the walls.
Layer of mousse, which is here.
The next layer is the caramel disc. Then there's a layer of jacquard, which is very fragile. I'm a bit nervous about it. Then there's a layer of mousse. a layer of apple, then there's a layer of jacon, then there's another layer of mousse, and then the sub-layer.
You have to make sure everything fits nice and snug or else it just won't hold together.
So my cake is layered, it's in the freezer, and now to work on the garnishes.
Go, Po!
I'm very, very proud of them. I think this is absolutely amazing.
If I gave this challenge to somebody in my work who has never done it before, they
wouldn't be able to do it.
Wouldn't be able to do it.
As I put it onto the bench to unmould it, I have my first real moment of fear.
I'm about to unmould my cake. I'm absolutely terrified right now.
Please, please, please. I'm gonna serve this cake with a mould around it. This is not good.
You have 5 minutes to go.
Everybody is scrambling like lunatics to get their cakes done.
Oh, it's not set.
I had so little time left. I'd turned my cake over. It was a total disaster. All the dimples were just horrible craters of mess.
A bit ugly.
My head just caved in and I just kind of gave up at the end.
I've got to heat the mould. If I got to get this off, it's chocolate. I need to melt something around it so it comes off nicely. So I get a little blowtorch. Thank God.
I know that I'm the first person to spray because I haven't heard anybody else's spray guns going.
Is that the right noise?
Yeah, the sound of the spray guns is quite loud and you do feel like you're a little bit in a hardware shop.
And I just spray the hell out of that cake.
You have 2 minutes to go.
It's ridiculous.
Keep going. Come on, guys.
Yeah, it was absolute chaos.
You have 1 minute to go.
Oh my Lord. Oh shit.
Ten seconds. 3, 2, 1. That's it. Step away from your benches. Well done. Brilliant job, brilliant job.
I look around and I do appear to be the only one who's put all the garnishes on the cake and done the white chocolate part. Wow, I was more organised than everyone today. That's, like, unheard of.
Tell you what, to go through that experience of making that cake, I'm never going to forget that, ever.
All I managed to plate in the end was just the cake.
That was mental.
I'm feeling like I let myself down, considering I did have a one-up on everyone.
I don't think I'm in trouble, but I could be. Yeah, I could be in trouble.
I'm the first one to go in. And when I plonk the cake down in front of them, I kind of have a little bit of a nervous giggle. Because it looks hideous. And when I cut into it, the caramel is very sticky. I was just mashing the cake so much that when it got to Gary, it was just not even recognisable as a slice of cake.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You can leave us to taste.
Okay.
Let's hit the presentation first. She's had some trouble, hasn't she? She's missed off the decoration on the top, the little hazelnuts, the little chocolate decoration.
But in saying that, everything's where it's supposed to be.
Let's be quite honest, this is a fine effort. But in terms of flavour, look, I think there's probably a bit too much caramel in it.
I mean, it's a beautiful, exciting riot in the mouth, and that's what you want this dish to be. I want a little bit more boom of blackberry in the mousse.
For me, the flavours are all balancing really well, and for that, you know, pastry can be all about technique, but if you don't have the palate to make it interesting and modern, it can just be, you know, it can be anything, and I think she's got that. She's got the palate. The technique she can work on, but for me, the palate's there.
Right, we've tasted Poe's chocolate cake. Let's get the next one in.
I'm freaking out because I don't know whether it's worked or not. I don't know whether it's all squished into one big mess in there. It's all gonna come down to me cutting a slice out of it and seeing what the inside is like. I'm over the moon. It's just perfect inside.
It's looking good so far, Chris. Nice layers, beautiful.
I'm feeling like $1 million.
Chris, thank you. We'll taste now.
Thanks, guys.
I think he's done a really good job.
100%. It looks spectacular.
And the thing that I got on this one was these little pops of salt in the caramel.
Overall, the flavours are incredible. That salt, it's incredibly subtle, and it doesn't overpower the chocolate, which is really, really important.
It's a bit like having Pop Rocks. Remember we had Pop Rocks as a kid? And you put in your hand, and you lick them, and you go... And it's the same thing, but it's using salt on that basis. That's exhilarating.
So well done on Chris, but let's taste the next one.